Sitting on your yoga mat, placing any props you'd like behind the backs of your hips, flexing your feet. Start curling and pointing your toes. Just warming up the practice of moving with the rhythm of your breath. Gently opening the tops and bottoms of the feet. Give your legs a little shake to release. You're welcome to have your hands just a little behind you here to help keep the neutral curve of your spine. Now you start to point and flex your toes, your whole foot. Not super important which half of the movement is with your inhale and which half is with your exhale, but linking to the breath helps encourage awareness of the breath. Helps encourage the parasympathetic nervous system response we're looking for in our yoga practice. And once again, let go. Give your legs a couple of shakes and taps on the mat. And then circle your ankles a few times, pointing them over towards your right and forward, and then to the left and back. And then a few times in the opposite direction as well. This sequence is called Pavan Muktasana, or wind releasing pose. It's meant to encourage awareness of the subtle energies within the body, as well as awakening gently those physical elements, our joints, our muscles, our connective tissues, before we start moving more. Once again, let go with a couple of breaths of random movement that feels good to you. And coming down onto your back, hold onto your left thigh just above the knee so that you can now bounce your lower leg up and down. Relaxing as much as possible so that as little effort as possible gets as much movement as possible. And then while holding the back of the leg, point and flex the foot a few times. And here, try to keep your shoulders, neck, and back as neutral as possible. And as you exhale, lift your shoulders, neck, and head. Walk your hands closer to the foot. And deepen the stretch for a few breaths. Try to keep your foot flexed towards your knee to stretch through the back of the leg, whether your knee is bent or straight. Nice. Releasing foot to the left, to the right knee now, the outer edge of the left foot to the right knee. Stretch the left hip for a few breaths. And again, try to keep the neutral position of your shoulders, neutral curve of your spine as you hold this stretch. And then switch it up. Hold your right thigh as you bounce your right lower leg up and down. Lengthen the leg, hold on to the thigh for a few breaths, pointing and flexing the foot to feel the front and back line of the leg. And stay where you are or walk your hands up towards the foot, lift your shoulders, neck, and head. Deepen the stretch for a few breaths. Beautiful. Lowering shoulders, neck, and head. Bend that right knee. Place the outer edge of right foot onto left knee. And hold on to your left thigh or shin, although you could always skip that part and just let the left foot stay touching down on the mat if you prefer. Broaden across your collarbones. Rest your shoulders back. And then take a few breaths circling your knees, relaxing your thighs as you move your legs around with your hands. Inhale, knees wide apart and away from you. Exhale, knees together and back towards you. Inhale, knees together and away, switching the direction now. Exhale, knees wide apart and back towards your shoulders. Feel free to also pause anywhere you'd like and give your knees, your legs a little shake. See if you can feel your hips, your shoulders, your whole back rocking back and forth within your musculature, giving yourself a massage from within. And as you're ready, just stretch out. Deep breath in, hold, and let go. Making your way back up to sitting. Come on up to hands and knees. Hands right beneath the shoulders, knees right beneath the hips. We'll take a few breaths, awakening the front and back line of our torso through cat-cow. As you inhale, chin away from chest, belly button hanging down. Exhale, round your back. You could have your toes tucked to stretch the soles of the feet at the same time. Also the option to have the tops of the feet down. If this ever hurts your wrists, you're welcome to be down on elbows or up on fists instead. Next inhale, please come back to a neutral spine. Maybe do one or two more if you'd like. Reach your right foot out to the side. Root down through the right foot so your toes are pointing forward, and then slide your left arm underneath your right so that your left shoulder touches down. And if you don't quite reach the mat, feel free to place a bolster or rolled up blanket under your shoulder. Your choice, you can let your left ear just lean against the ground or tuck your chin in towards your chest and look up towards that right armpit. Right hand can stay down or reach up or even tuck to the outside of or front of that left thigh. This pose should feel a little bit like you're going to do a somersault, but your outstretched right leg keeps you from rolling over. Nice stretch to the left shoulder, and depending whether you've tucked your chin, to the back left side of the neck. As you're ready, slide that right leg back behind you and then across towards your left. Sorry, before you do that, across towards your left, turning to look over your left shoulder to find a stretch to the whole left side of your torso, even through the left hip, through the right hip and along the right leg. Have that right foot pointed so the top of the foot touches the ground. Nice. Bringing your right foot forward now, find a nice long lunge position, and you can keep the hands down, bring them up to your thigh or reach them up towards the sky. wherever you feel a stretch through the front of your left hip while keeping a safe position for your right leg, right knee just above the right heel. Your choice of looking straight ahead or arching and looking up a little, but try to lengthen through your back body either way. Exhale, hands come down. Knees come together, shoulders, hips, thighs, all one long line. Lowering down through half plank, chest and chin, just a little before the hips to touch down. And then once your hips touch down, untuck your toes. And start to move in baby cobra. Inhale, crown of head and heart forward and up. Exhale, lower back down, just using the erector muscles either side of your spine to warm up your spine and the whole length of your back, the whole width of your back. Feel free to keep moving that way, or the next time you lift, feel free to slide your elbows forward and come into Sphinx pose. Now we're just supporting our back bend with our arms, so we should be able to relax the erector muscles either side of our spine. So feel free to check in whether that's the case. Maybe you're able to sway your hips from side to side and feel your whole back swaying a little as well. And you're welcome to stay right here. Or if you'd like, bring your elbows and hands a little further forward. And then lift without quite straightening your elbows, coming into seal pose, where for the first time we're balancing the support into our back bend from our arms and from the erector muscles either side of our spine. So let's check that we're feeling that balance, and also balance reaching forward at the same time as reaching up, broadening across our collarbones, resting our shoulder blades down, lengthening through both sides of the neck, front and back. Coming out any time or taking another breath or so. And then as you exhale, elbows touch down. Inhale, lengthen there in Sphinx. And then lower your right side of your face to the mat or to your hands. Give your hips a little sway from side to side. Maybe lift the feet and give them a sway from side to side too. Either way, inhale. Exhale with a sigh. Let your feet touch down. Bring your chin and forehead back to center. And then lift up through your half plank or full plank if you're feeling energetic. And take a few breaths with your knees far enough away from your hands that your shoulders line up with your arms and torso, so that from the side you see a long diagonal line from your wrists up to your hips, and then a vertical line from your hips down to your knees. Half downward facing dog. There should be some effort in the upper body to hold this position, but you should also feel sustainable here. If ever there's pain or numbness, just lower your hips to your heels. Stay in child's pose. Really spread out your fingers to grip the mat firmly in this pose. Thumbs pointing towards each other in the middle of the mat. You're welcome to keep your knees down, or bring them a little closer to your hands, and then tuck your toes to lift into a higher version of downward facing dog, a knees lifted version of the pose. Here, walking your feet a little closer to, or moving them a little further back from your hands. Great way to find that long diagonal line from wrists right up to hips again. Bend and straighten each leg a few times. Just feeling the stretch in the back of the straight leg in particular. Finding your way into where you can balance strength and intention and engagement in this pose with a feeling of balance. Less effort than a push-up pose. More like the stacking of a pyramid. And as you're ready, let your knees touch down, untuck your toes, let your hips settle back to your heels. Bring your palms together out in front of you here, and then bend your elbows. Bring your thumbs to the back of your neck. From there, you may be able to wiggle your elbows a little closer together, a little further forward, to stretch the back of your upper arms, your triceps muscles. Inhale, exhale with a sigh. Inhale, exhale with an ah. Feel free to turn your wrists so the backs of your hands touch each other for a breath or two as well. Nice little different version of this stretch if you're inclined. And as you exhale, let your hands come down. Lift your hips off your heels. We'll try that twist and side stretch sequence from the other side. So left foot reaching out to the side now, left toes pointing forward and rooting down. Right arm slides underneath the left. Your choice. Right ear could lean against the mat, or chin could tuck in so that you're looking towards your left armpit, getting a little more of a stretch to the back right side of the neck. Your choice of keeping left hand down or reaching it up, or even to the outside or front of that right hip, thigh, wherever you're feeling a stretch without feeling like you'll actually roll over into this somersault. As you're ready, slide your right arm back to hands and knees. Stretch that left leg back. Bend as deeply as you'd like into the right knee, just to stretch the front of that left hip and thigh. And then as you're ready, come back up so your hips are above your right knee, and stretch your left foot out to the right, looking over your right shoulder, stretching the whole left side of your torso. Left hip, left thigh, left ribs. Notice the left foot is pointed so that it's touching down and kind of resisting movement by touching down on the ground. Gives you that anchor to stretch the whole left side with. Take your time as often as you'd like. You're welcome to take extra time in a pose, to pause and be in stillness in some other position if need be. We're trying to encourage ourselves to move slowly enough that we feel that parasympathetic response. Moving the left foot forward now for the lunge on the other side. If ever we're not feeling that rest and digest response, let's take initiative to take a few more moments resting or modifying in any way we need. Here, remember to rest your shoulders away from your ears, whether you've got the arms lifted or not. To lengthen through your back body, whether you're looking straight ahead or arching slightly. To keep a long enough step that your left knee stays just above or even a little behind your left heel, even as your hips reach ahead of the right knee. And then come down to your half or your full plank. Inhale at the top. Exhale, lower down, chest and chin just a little bit before the hips. And then toes untuck. And we start off with a baby cobra lift again, and just pause right there, noticing how it feels. You're welcome to start coming up higher from there into the full cobra pose, Or you're welcome to come back to one of the variations of back bend that we did last time. Whichever variation of back bend we do, let's be mindful of balancing the effort and support through the arms with some effort and engagement through the erector muscles either side of the spine. Let's broaden across our collarbones, rest our shoulder blades down. Balance lengthening up as well as reaching forward. And then as you exhale, come on down. Turn so the left side of your face is resting on or just below your hands. Feel free to keep your feet down or lift them as you give your hips a little sway from side to side. Inhale, exhale with an ah. And bring your hands to either side of your ribs, chin and forehead back to center. Lift up through your version of plank. And find your way to your version of downward facing dog, whether it's with the knees down or lifted. Find that long diagonal line from wrists right up to hips. That feeling of balancing rather than holding the pose. This is not as engaged as a push-up would be, for example. Allow your heels to reach towards the floor, but there's no need for them to touch the ground. Keep a little bit of a bend in your knees so that your hips reach back and up nice and intently with the neutral curve of your spine as much as possible. As you next exhale, lower your knees. Spread them as wide as you need. Let your hips settle back towards your heels, as much support as you need beneath your forehead or torso or both. This time, bring your hands back towards your feet so your shoulders drape across your knees. Inhale, exhale with a sigh. Inhale, exhale with an ah. Remember, you're welcome to take as long as you'd like in resting. You're welcome to modify as much as you'd like anytime throughout the practice. When you do come up, take a few breaths slowly, making your way to an upright position. Feel free to sit back on your heels as I'm doing. Feel free to lift your hips off your heels and be in a half standing position. And lifting your hips off your heels to that half standing position. Please step 1 foot at a time forward. Make your way up to standing. Feet about hip width apart, fold forward halfway. Hands on the knees or reaching out for a wall or shelf to support, keeping the shoulders, neck and head level with the hips. Let your low back curve towards your belly button and take a couple more breaths here, stretching the hips and the biggest muscles in your body is the back of your thighs. And then your choice, you could stay where you are, come up higher anytime, or bring your belly button closer to your thighs, possibly keeping that lengthened alignment, possibly rounding down if it feels good to stretch the back of the spine. And then take a few breaths exploring that range of motion. Inhale, lift up to that halfway point. Exhale, come back to wherever your edge is, wherever your limit for forward folding is at the moment. And once you've done that a few times, take your choice of letting your arms hang down, your hands resting on the ground or on props, or holding on to the elbows as I'm doing. Maybe nodding or swaying your head and shoulders, or even the whole length of your spine. Either way, though, definitely let go with some kind of sounding or lengthening of your breath. And then please lengthen up halfway. Fold forward once again. And then come all of the way up. Watching out for any ornaments you have hanging around the house that you might bump into on the way up. Hands to heart center, we'll inhale there. And as we exhale, let our arms come down. Maybe give them a couple of swings back and forth. A couple of taps to the shoulders if that feels good. Maybe even give yourself a little bounce. Let your whole body shake as you bend and straighten your knees, and let go with any kind of expressive sound as you do that. Just notice the rhythm of your breath. Notice the beat of your heart. Notice where you have physical sensation in the body at the moment. Intentionally moving every part of our body the way we do in a yoga practice. Great way to bring physical awareness to the body rather than just the thought of our experience. We'll inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, step your right foot back, look forward, stretching the front of right hip and thigh. Suspend your breath, plank or half plank. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog of your choice. Knees could stay down or lift up. As you inhale, step your right foot forward, let your left knee touch down, stretch. Exhale, fold forward at the front of the mat, look towards your leg. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, hands come down. Let's try the same thing on the other side. Inhale and exhale, hands together. Inhale, arms, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward, look towards your legs. Inhale, step left foot back, left knee down, look forward. Suspend your breath, plank or half plank. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, right knee down, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot forward, fold forward. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, fold forward, look towards your legs. Inhale, right foot back, look forward, stretch the front of right hip. Suspend your breath. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forward, look forward. Exhale, forward fold at the front of the mat, look towards your legs. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, reach arms up, look up. Exhale, fold, look towards your leg. Inhale, left foot steps back, look forward. Suspend your breath, plank. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps forward, look forward. Exhale, fold forward, look towards your legs. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, exhale, last one on each side. Inhale, reach arms up, look up. Exhale, fold, look towards your legs. Inhale, right foot steps back, look forward. Suspend your breath, plank or half plank. Exhale, down. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forward, stretch the front of left hip. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold, look towards your legs. Inhale, left foot back, look forward. Suspend your breath. Exhale, down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Exhale, forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Notice the rhythm of your breath and the beat of your heart. Notice whatever other thoughts, emotions, and sensations you're experiencing. Remind yourself you're welcome to stay in stillness anytime if that's where you'll best maintain that awareness-based sense of self. Otherwise, if you'd like, step your right foot back. Lift your arms level with your shoulders, finding warrior two pose. Right away, balancing the strength in your legs, lifting you up and holding you into the pose. With a stretch, right knee straight, left knee bent just above the left heel. Arms lifting, but shoulders resting down. Balancing all of that strength with a stretch of reaching the outer edge of left knee, back of right thigh. Both pinky fingers towards an imaginary wall just behind you. Visualizing whatever you set out to experience in coming to this practice, here and now. Feel free to stay as you are, or bend that left elbow and lower it to the inside of your right knee. Stretch your right arm alongside your right ear, or keep it alongside your torso, or reach straight up. But try to bring one long line from your right foot all the way to the right shoulder. If you happen to notice a different angle from the foot to the hip than from the hip up to the shoulder, either lift your torso a little higher or spread your feet further apart to lower your hips. But try not to lean on that left arm to hold this position. Instead, use your core strength to lengthen through both sides of your torso. And then on your inhale, come on up. Bring your feet closer together if need be. Find your exalted warrior. Right hand down your right leg or behind your low back as left arm reaches towards the sky. Shoulders resting away from the ears. Still keeping the legs in that stretched position we were aiming for. Outer edge of left knee, back of right thigh. Reaching towards an imaginary wall just behind you. Even though you clearly feel the stretch on the left side of the torso here, can you also lengthen the right side? Continue to rest both shoulders away from ears. Exhale. Arms come back. Hands touch down. Find your way into a low lunge, placing as much support as you'd like beneath the knee or the shin. You're welcome to keep your arms down or reach that right arm up while keeping the left hand by your left knee. Reaching over to that left side to side stretch while letting that right hip reach forward and down, possibly reaching the right arm and shoulder back a little. Bringing the stretch not only into the right side of the torso, but the front of the right hip and thigh. And then inhale up to center. Exhale, right hand to right knee, left hand to low back. Lengthen your torso and turn. Noticing how you don't need to hold yourself upright with your arms in this twist. And try to keep that same quality, whether you keep that upright alignment of the torso or whether you turn with the hand on the ground or the elbow on the knee. Still able to feel the strength of your core, the support of your legs holding you in this pose rather than needing to lean on the arms. You might even take a breath, just lifting the elbow or hand off the mat or the knee to check that you are supported through the core and the legs rather than leaning on the arms. Exhale, hands come down, feet come together, knees come together, half or full plank down to the mat. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog of your choice. Knees could be down or up. A few breaths adjusting the position, a few breaths in stillness. Feeling the balance of the position. Good. Knees bend a little more deeply. Step or jump forward. Lengthen up halfway as you inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale there. Exhale, arms come down. Inhale, step left foot back. Bend right knee just above right heel. Warrior two. Same balance, squeezing legs in towards each other to lift. Bending into right knee to stretch. Lifting arms level with the shoulders, but resting shoulders away from ears. And at the same time as holding all of that strength and determination, stretching in opposite directions to stretch the front of hips and shoulders, to keep a safe, open alignment. As close to parallel to the long side of the mat as you can be through the legs and the arms. Bring your right elbow just to the inside of right knee. Lower your torso to whatever point brings your long line from the left foot all the way up to the left shoulder. Whether that's with your elbow touching the knee or your torso up a little higher or down a little lower. Just depends on your circumstance for the day, and there's no judgment there. It's just about finding your edge and breathing into it. There's no need for you to look like you did the last time you did yoga or like what anyone else is doing in the practice in order for you to be fully engaged, fully immersed in your practice. All that's required is to Make an honest effort and honestly accept your edge wherever you reach it. Come on back up. Take your choice of staying in stillness in Warrior 2 or coming all the way up to Exalted Warrior. Left arm reaching behind you or just down the left leg. Right arm up towards the sky. Still opening the legs so that that line at the front of your body is parallel to the long edge of your mat. Noticing that even though you're deeply stretching the right side of your torso, you're still able to lengthen through the left and rest both shoulders away from your ears. Coming out anytime or taking another breath. And then as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Find your lunge. And here you're welcome to use whatever props you'd like beneath the left shin so the left knee doesn't even have to touch down. You're welcome to just stay with the arms down or reach that left arm up. Keeping right hand by the right hip, we'll lean towards the right side just however far we can reach without feeling like we need to lean on the arms to hold the position. Letting left hip reach forward and down, or reach the left shoulder and arm up and back possibly, stretching not just the left side but the front of the left hip and thigh. Let's reach up to center and twist to our right. Left hand on right knee, right hand on low back. And feel free to stay in that version of the twist or bring the left hand down to the mat. Right hand on the thigh or reaching towards the sky. Or the left elbow to the knee and the right hand into the left. One long line from elbow to elbow if that's the version you're choosing. Your choice of keeping left knee down or tucking the toes to lift. In any case, feeling that you could lift your elbow off the knee or your hand off the ground. Just checking that you're not leaning on the arms to hold the upper body, but supporting through the legs and the core. And then when you're ready, hands come down, feet step back, half or full plank. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Take your time adjusting. Take your time being in the pose without being locked in position. Breath coming and going, allowing you to feel the flow of your body even as you hold a pose in stillness. And then bend your knees more deeply. Inhale, step or jump forward and lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach out, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale there. Exhale, arms down. Take your time moving a little. Bringing hands back to heart center. Please find your balance. Eyes softly focused on an unmoving point on the ground or the wall out ahead of you. Bring your right foot up to your inner left ankle, your calf, or your thigh, wherever you're able to. Keep that right knee out to the side and to keep your balance. Feel free to reach out for a wall or a shelf if need be. Feel free to keep your hands right at your heart or reach them up. Rest your shoulders away from your ears either way. Try to keep active so you're not just leaning out towards that left side, but balancing with the hips centered, eyes staying focused on that initial drishti point, or possibly looking up or within. Wherever you challenge yourself to bring your eyes, keep it sustainable. This shouldn't be a struggle every breath of the way, but for about 20% of our pose, 20% of our practice, 20% of our life, let's feel free to get to a point where there's some uncertainty, some wobbling, some falling. Recognizing that's not a failure, but that's reaching our edge. It's exactly where we want to be in life, in our balance poses, in our yoga practice. Now, as you come out, take a few breaths, swinging your arms from side to side, tapping your waist, your chest, or your opposite shoulders. And slowing that motion down, lowering your arms. Just noticing where you have physical sensation. As you're ready, bring your left foot to your inner ankle, calf, or thigh. Find your balance on the other side. Reaching out for any support you may need. Keeping hands just in front of you or reaching up. Looking straight ahead, or finding another point you can focus on, whether it's somewhere on the wall in front of you, somewhere on the ceiling overhead, or for a real challenge, eyes closed, looking within. Let your body move with each inhale and exhale. Let your body adjust for your balance. Remember, falling out of the poses, reaching your edge. Give yourself a smile. Thanks for getting to that point if you do. As you're ready, come back to that original drishti point, wherever your eyes were originally focused, to help you balance. Bring hands down. Lower left foot. Give yourself a sway from side to side, gently bending and straightening each knee, letting your hips really slink over to one side and the other. And feel free to keep doing that slowly, or start to move a little more quickly till you feel a wiggle through your thighs and glutes. Maybe then bounce your whole upper body, bending and straightening both knees at the same time. One more time, just feeling that shake within your upper body, within your whole body, and noticing where there is sensation, rather than just the thought of your body, the physical feeling of breath and whatever sensation is there. Bring your feet out a little wider than your hips. Point your toes away from each other so that you can lower your hips into a squat. And if your heels lift or there's any pain or numbness, feel free to bring a prop behind you and sit on it, either in the squat position or like I'm doing with the soles of my feet touching and my hips right down on the ground. Very similar stretch either way. At first we're going to let the torso lift and keep the upper body upright. If you're squatting, arms between the legs to kind of keep the knees reaching out. If you're sitting, feel free to lift your torso with your hands just behind you. And then feel free to bring your arms forward and take a few breaths with your fingers reaching as far forward as you can, your chin tucked in, your whole back rounding, stretching the whole length of your back. Slowly making your way to an upright position. Bring your hands behind you and lower your hips down if you were in a squat. As you're ready, move any props out of the way to stretch your legs out in front of you. Feet flexed even if the knees are bent. Remember, having a prop behind the backs of the sits bones can help tilt your pelvis forward to lengthen the neutral curve of your spine and your torso. And keep that neutral curve as you fold forward, holding on to the mat, to your legs, or to your feet. Inhale, lengthen, low back curving towards belly button. Exhale, belly button could come closer to the thighs, or possibly you're at your edge. You're welcome to keep your neutral curve or round down, chin towards chest, forehead towards the knees. Knees can be bent or straight, but flex your feet towards your knees to lengthen and stretch through the backs of the legs. And after a few breaths, pulling yourself intentionally towards the legs, take a few breaths just holding on wherever you're holding without pulling at all, without intentionally trying to deepen at all, just letting the breath come and go and seeing what happens. Then inhale and reach forward and up. Exhale, hands back behind you with the shoulders outwardly rotated. So the fingers point back, shoulder blades reach towards each other on the back. As you inhale, lift your hips. Take your choice of keeping chin tucked in or looking up or even back, stretching the front of shoulders and chest. And exhale, lowering hips down. We'll stretch the legs out in front of us again, move any props out of the way. And slowly come on down to the mat. Lifting one leg at a time. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Keep the neutral curve of your spine, low back curving towards belly button. And possibly keep your left heel down while balancing with your right shin parallel to the mat. Possibly bring both shins parallel. Possibly both heels down. Wherever you're able to keep the neutral curve of your spine and shoulders resting away from ears. Good. Exhale, heel comes down. Knees and feet spread out a little wider. Inhale, chin away from chest. Arching your back. Exhale, rounding. Two more like that. And lift your left leg, then right. Several more times, alternating just that way. And then pausing with left shin parallel to the mat, possibly, or one of the other variations I mentioned on the other side. Just make sure wherever you are, your shoulders are resting down, low back is curving towards belly button, and you're breathing. Exhale, heels come down, hug your knees in towards your chest, balance on your sits bones, sway from side to side. And feel free to turn to your side and use your arms to lower yourself down, or rock back and forth a few times to gradually stretch the whole length of your spine. Once you're on your back, place your feet about hip width apart and parallel right beneath the knees. Inhale, lift your hips, your low back, your mid back. Exhale, lower back down. Good, keep moving with the rhythm of your breath. And maybe stay in an upright position if you'd like. Maybe tucking the arms underneath, interlacing fingers behind your low back. Stretching your shoulders towards each other on the back, front of shoulders, chest getting a nice stretch. Core muscles that we were just engaging getting a nice stretch. And hands coming back to either side, lowering hips. As you're ready, letting your legs stretch out, letting your hands reach out a little further to either side. Just taking a couple of breaths to relax completely. And then as you're ready, bringing whatever props you need nearby to twist. Knees bent, leaning over towards your right side with whatever support you need so that your left shoulder stays touching down. Possibly looking towards your outstretched left arm as you do. Feeling the breath possibly that much more noticeable in our twist, since those parts of our torso that expand and retract with each breath, our abdomen, our ribs, our chest, they're all squeezed a little bit by this twisting motion. Let that movement help you discover just the right amount of twist, just the right positioning of your twist. And then as you're ready, bring your left leg away from your right. Feel the stretch between your thighs as you come back up to center. Bring your prop over to the other side if you need it. Knees lowering down to the left. Right shoulder staying touched down. Looking towards your outstretched right arm. Letting breath be your guide. Inhale, right leg away from left. And as you bring your legs back up to center, hold on to each knee. Relax your thighs so you can shake the knees back and forth one more time. Feel that massage from within, and then find happy baby pose, which for me is with my hands holding my shins just above my ankles, and still get the feet into that wide position, and still get the elbows between the knees to stretch the inner thighs, but my back is in a neutral position. My hips stay touched down even as I hold this position. My shoulders and neck fairly neutral. Another option is to place a prop underneath the hips. Some of you may be able to reach the outer edges of your feet and stretch happily in that position. Feel free to rock from side to side whenever you find that pose. As you're ready, lower your feet. Move any props out of the way so that you can position your hips and shoulders far enough apart that your back is long without being stretched out. Your hands and feet so that your hips and shoulders are relaxed and open. And make any other adjustments you need so that you can stay in stillness for the next several minutes. Feel free to completely ignore the sound of my voice if you're already well on your way to an intentional, conscious relaxation. Otherwise, start to consciously relax yourself part by part. Say to yourself, I'm relaxing my torso. My torso is relaxed. I'm relaxing my hips and shoulders. My hips and shoulders are relaxed. I'm relaxing my neck and face. I'm relaxing my arms and legs. I'm relaxing my heart and mind. I'm completely, deeply relaxed. And when you know you're ready, stretch out. Take a deep breath in and hold it. Hug your knees in. Gently rock from side to side. Come on up to sitting. Come over here and cuddle. Sleep?
Yeah. Dad, can I tell you something? Well, Bia on my soccer team, it's not gonna make a difference because she is homeschooled normally, so it's not gonna make a difference.
You're just gonna be like back to the same old.